How does the All-State 12 Conference sound? Because that's close to being a reality among other people who are involved. Stick around while we talk about why the Big 12 may not be the Big 12 anymore, right after this word from our sponsors. By Magic Shine Auto Spa and Tint in Morgantown, West Virginia. At Magic Shine, your vehicle's care is their top priority. They use only the highest quality products to ensure your car not only looks its best, but is also protected and maintained with the utmost care. From window tinting with top-of-the-line Max Pro Tint to protective ceramic coatings from Diamond Protect, they've got you covered. Drive in today and experience the difference at Magic Shine Auto Spa and Tint, where your car shines like new. Shine on, Morgantown. Today's video is sponsored by Mountaineer Paul Talks. This episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football is sponsored by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory. It's across the state of West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing. Only at the Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
This is for Cameron.
What is up? Welcome back in, guys. This is another episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. I am your host, Mountaineer Paul, and we just did a video not even 2 or 3 hours ago talking about private equity being involved in college football now and Brett Yormark possibly and company due to his previous relationship with the firm CBV getting into that possible billion-dollar deal. And then not even a couple hours later, something else is released. The Big 12 is discussing selling the name of the conference, which, hey, look, I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing to do here. As a matter of fact, it's probably the right thing to do. The Big 12 has been crapped on and, just basically told it was worth nothing for the better part of a couple of years now. So changing the name might actually be a good thing anyway. So let's get on to an article that kind of guesses exactly what I'm talking about here, guys. Big 12 exploring naming rights deal with suitors. The Big 12 is exploring a naming rights agreement with Allstate, among other potential suitors, a source confirmed today. And a deal that can be worth anywhere from $30 to $50 million annually. Brett McMurphy of Action Network first reported the connection to Allstate. This is all being done to close the gap between the Big Ten and SEC, the source said. Yahoo Sports reported today that the naming rights talks have centered around retaining the 12 and Big 12 and removing the Big in favor of a corporate sponsor's name. Similar efforts have been made in the bowl world, Outback Bowl, Capital One, Orange Bowl, etc., but no major conference has explored such a move. As noted, the exploratory discussions come as the Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark has delved into alternative ways to close the massive cash flow gap between his league and the rest of the Power Four. The league previously had meetings with private equity firm CBC in Dallas that included a deck introducing the company to the league and what potential they could bring, a connection CBS first reported this morning. The league has made waves in recent months in exploring new revenue streams given the future constraints schools may be faced with in wake of potential settlement in House, Hubbard, and Carter cases. Schools are likely to be able to share up to $22 million in revenue with athletes. A number of industry sources suggest will be a functional requirement to stay competitive in the upper echelons of college football. Yormark already jumped the line and beat the Pac-12 to a media rights deal worth $2.28 billion and an annual average of $380 million, a 72.7% increase in average annual value of its current deal, which started in 2012. He also spearheaded a new PSL program for the Big 12 men's basketball championships that is expected to bring around $30 million to the league by 2031. That said, the gap between the Big 12 and its Power Four compatriots, the Big Ten, SEC, and ACC remains vast. The most recent iteration of the college football playoff contract is set to see the Big Ten and SEC receive 29% each of the deal worth $1.3 billion annually. Meanwhile, the Big 12 will receive 14.75% of that cash. Sources briefed on the deal at the time noted there are a few options in negotiating a more evenly split piece of the CFP pie. Those leagues outside the SEC and Big Ten basically faced appealing to college sports' two most powerful leagues or risk them walking away entirely. As much as it can bring an infusion of capital, which is not free, it's an investment against the assets that we already have and the revenue already generated, Pernetti told SBJ this week. But I think there's 100 ways to cut these things. College sports landscape has become increasingly unsettled in recent years. The Pac-12's overnight implosion set off the latest round of realignment. Stark financial realities of the current leagues have also seen schools like Clemson and Florida State exploring legal ways to leave the ACC. We all know it's talks about losing Texas and Oklahoma. We're like a mature startup, Yormark said. This Big 12 is 28 years in the making. When you compare us to some of the other conferences that have been around for 90 years, we're just getting started. Very interesting. So this is the second time today that I've been just amazed at Brett Yormark and the foresight he shows into some of these decisions. I'm sure he surrounds himself with extremely smart people and all that, but just the different avenues he's taken to keep the Big 12 around, I just have no doubt were the previous leadership still involved, Big 12 would have been done a long time ago. And we were left in the remains, we probably would have been scrambling, much like Washington State and Oregon State. So feel fortunate that we have Brett Yormark at the head of this conference. Always kind of worry about somebody plucking him away, but I think he's so vested in the Big 12 and winning or getting it competitive. I would be shocked if he left to go somewhere else. I've seen that brought up several times today, and I just thought, I think he's too vested in this. I think it's like, we're all, not that money doesn't talk and that it would be easier on him to do something somewhere else, but I think he wants to make history here. I think he believes he can, and he's bullish on the Big 12, like it says. You hear it said all the time. So this would be interesting. There's really no downside to it. None. What's the downside to saying this is the all-state 12? Literally nothing. The Big 12 has made a reputation for itself as a pretty damn good conference, and there's a lot of people that watch it, and All-State wants to be a part of that. Nothing wrong with that. Be interesting to see what other names could happen as a result of others coming in. And my other question is, why not go ahead and just make it 16, since it's going to be 16 anyway? It's probably going to change again. So 20 would probably be easy as well if we can get there. But I'm just curious why it has to be 12. I mean, it's one thing if you're keeping the Big 12 because that's a brand. But if you take the Big away from it, 12 is not your brand, So I don't understand why you wouldn't explore just doing 16 at that point. But who am I to critique this situation? Overall, guys, I'm just blown away by Yormark and what he continues to do, as you are, I'm sure. Curious to know, guys, do you think the Brett Yormark is going to keep the Big 12 in it no matter what, or do you think at some point we fall behind and he's going to be run out of rabbits, for the lack of a better term, pull out of his hat? Let me know. Like the video, drop a comment below, and subscribe. Drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel, guys, because I think Brett Yormark's going to make the Big 12 relevant with the Big 10 and SEC. It may not be exactly equal footing, but it's going to be close enough to where it's going to be pretty minimal cash-wise. If you want a signed Garrett Green helmet, here's how you get it. You go to this website here, WestVirginiaInsiders.com. You go to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. You subscribe there. Go to Hoops from the Hills and subscribe there. And then go to the forums on the site and sign up on the forum. You sign up to all three of those guys. As you can see, we have a few hundred people here signed up. You will be in the running for a signed Garrett Green mini helmet, which is pretty dang cool. I mean, it's basically free for you. And it's, as you can see, it's beautifully signed in the gold lettering. It's not even been out of the package. So if that's something you're interested in, guys, do that for me. Subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, guys, stick around for 5 o'clock. Pro Football Focus. Max Chadwick is going to come on and tell me why the West Virginia Mountaineers are criminally underrated in 2024. I think you won't want to miss that. We're really excited about the upcoming season, obviously. Let's see what he has to say about this West Virginia offense he thinks could be really good. All right, guys, thank you for joining in. Don't forget to keep coming back. Like, share, subscribe, follow, the whole deal. Join the contest if you want the helmet, and I'll see you at 5, guys. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over. I'm out.
This is for Cameron. Tim Kim.